Okay, so it has been, let's see, quite a few years, couple decades plus, since we have enjoyed anything from Stargate. 2008 was the last year where they made anything, Stargate Continuum, and there was talk, the last serious talk, of continuing the Stargate story with this film that was going to be called Stargate Revolution. But for some reason that fell through. Wait. There's the exception. Stargate Universe. That's right. I'm totally forgetting that does continue the story. Let me find that real quick. Stargate Universe. There we go. 2009. 2010. 11. Is that season 1? Sorry about that. Being human, stupid brain forgot. Stargate Universe is the last Stargate we've seen, and if I'm reading this right, it was middle of 2011. So that is the last canon Stargate story out there. And though it is kind of its own story, and in my opinion, has a nice little ending with obvious possibilities for future content, but has a nice little ending as all the spoiler alerts. Characters that have survived in the 2 seasons go into status hibernation in order to survive a whole lot longer without having to worry about supplies or coming out of the special kind of hyperspace travel. Anyways, not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about what I think would be an excellent, as I have the title of the video called, Stargate 11, Season 11, SG1, Season 11. Because those are our favorite characters, that's where the core of the story is, and there's so much potential. And my idea for how they could continue, and I think I need to switch the screen again. That's right, there we go. Okay, how they could continue with a possible season 11 would be to start out with the premise that, let's get here. Okay, let's pull up my notes. So, episode 1 opening, possible title, 3 worlds, 1 door. So, season 11, episode 1. There's a big celebration, ceremony for the victory over, and insert alien rebels, end of a civil war. So, the premise, the setting is, it's an alien world. SG1 has just, or Earth forces have just helped secure a victory on this alien planet. And they're celebrating. Huge celebration. Thanks to, again, Earth Forces help, SG1's help. Wouldn't be just has to be one. Earth Forces, you'd have Stargate Command. That's the term. I'll get my brain working here soon. Stargate Command has just helped these aliens free their world. And so that's the setting, and that opening scenes, of course, is where you can have some excellent cameos by a couple characters that you might not necessarily have for the full run of the first couple episodes. So that's where you get Richard in there, and of course the aliens. This would be a unique opportunity to introduce some new aliens right off the get-go, possibly even, especially for the setting, aliens that are reoccurring. You could even have a couple characters that are reoccurring for the story I've written, or at least the model, because it's more of an outline than anything. 2 science characters would be perfect. So the story goes that now that this world is set free from war, they can focus on more peaceful pursuits such as exploration and archaeology. So of course this is where you introduce your science mains, and this could be a great fun interaction between our two key doctors, because of course something big like this would have collaboration from the Atlantis team, since obviously they are part of Earth now, or at least ostensibly they could be, since that's where we left them last at the end of Stargate Atlantis. And of course this here is just an example of another alien species you could have possibly as a third scientist, or as one of the two scientists if you wanted to have more than one alien species on this planet. Why not? That can make it more fun. But so a natural consequence of this victory and this peacetime is that SG-1, or the Stargate Command, now has access to a recently uncovered ancient ruin on this planet. It seems to be a very large structure. It was uncovered because of the war and some of the explosions, whatever, if you need the specifics spelled out. But that would be more or less background material. And Dr. Jackson, Dr. McKay are part of the lead team trying to figure out how to open the entry door. There's a sort of code pattern, and this is where you could have a really neat situation. You could also have a lot of fun banter between the two as they're arguing over what's the best way to get this thing open. You could even have more people, more scientists in there, such as Alenka and the other doctor with glasses that is occasionally useful as Stargate Command. I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but I guess that's kind of how it goes, right? But this would be a perfect insert for where maybe you have one of the other team leaders, and an excellent candidate for that team leader would be a recurring character by the actress Elizabeth Rosen, playing her character who could now be up in rank, Captain or Major Haley. She could even be like the leader of SG-12 or whatever. So let's say Captain Haley. Let's say she's there just quietly observing in her military capacity these doctors bicker and fight over this. And maybe she suddenly has a realization. And she steps forward and says, maybe it's not a code or a language. Maybe it's a picture, and you just got to hit the buttons in sequence to draw the picture. And it could be something where once the picture is drawn, it makes up the, well, you can't even see that. That's annoying. There we go. It makes up this particular shape, which they might not recognize right away, but they soon will. So they try that out. The code works. And as they enter in, it's pretty obvious this place has been sealed up and untouched for a very long time. But it's also evidence of high tech. And this could even be, you could even, if you wanted to, draw parallels at this point with this structure being made by the same people or in similar style to the Stargate Universe ship, the Destiny. But you don't have to. You can go a completely new direction here and have this be a completely new style of set. Just saying this is an opportunity to do that if you wanted to. And it doesn't have to be that it's necessarily built by the same group of ancients. This could be a breakaway group, and that's one of the reasons this thing was hidden and forgotten, is because it was a group that was trying to hide, doing their experiments with this quantum mirror gate. Anyways, so the next scene is them exploring this place, going into this huge ship, which I have a small drawing there, what it shape it could be, and of the doorway and everything. Anyways, so they step into this ancient structure, which at first is assumed to be a ruin, but as they're exploring, they realize, well, they don't have to realize right away. That could be something that could be chosen of how you lay out the story. It could be a surprise later on. Actually, yeah, that'd be very good. Possibly, depending on how you tell the story, the second part, the two-parter, if this is a pilot opening for this new season, this could be the two-parter, and I'll point out where that could be later on here. Anyways, once they get the door open, a fun interaction that you could have occur here with the character of Colonel Shepard, who would of course be in charge of the Atlantis base, is him bugging McKay that, hey, your mission was to help get this door open, door's open, let's go home. And of course McKay is going to plead that he wants to stay, and then you could have, again, fun banter with Shepard saying something like, fine, 5 more minutes, and of course McKay would fuss in his characteristic way, 5 more minutes, that's hardly enough time. Anyways, I think that's a great moment there, character moment you could have. Anyways, so they eventually get in here figure out that whatever the structure is, it does have power. And, with having 2 plus geniuses around, maybe 4 or 5, they figure out how to turn the power on. And you could even have, that could be a moment where the alien scientists figure it out. Because for them, any of the script and language that they do see, they recognize, oh, that's a very ancient language from our own world. Just like us as humans would recognize, especially if you're educated, ancient Hebrew or Chinese or Latin, something of that sort, or ancient Sumerian. Same thing here, only here you'd have aliens being the ones who would be the primary interpreters, as opposed to Dr. Jackson, because this is their world. So that would be a very clever way to integrate your new characters. But what they're going to see, they're going to enter into a large room which seems like sort of a gate room / science facility based on the setup. And this could be a very neat set piece that is built, and it will be regularly used for this, at least this next season, for I say first season. It would be first of a new series, in a sense, but for season 11. And this is, of course, the gate room of the quantum mirror gate, which could also be just called as quantum Stargate. And that might be something that they eventually start calling it once they realize. Anyways, they don't realize it right away. And that's the fun part. This could even be another moment where you can give the character Haley something interesting to do, in that she could find a particular device that would help out in figuring out what's going on. And actually, I should stop here. I'm talking about quantum gateway and everything. The whole scientific premise within this worldview that is occurring, the whole reason it happens would be because of this thing here, or this would be an iteration, another version of this thing. This is the quantum mirror that was found in, let me find it, let's see. I want to say Point of View, Another Alternate Reality. Season 3, episode 6, Point of View. I believe that's the right episode where this quantum mirror first shows up. And of course, this will show up a couple other times. But what can be especially helpful here is that you could have one of the characters say, Captain Haley, discover the device. And those of you who've seen the episode, you know. And so in this new episode here that we're discussing, a possible season 11 opener, once this device is discovered, Dr. Jackson will recognize right away what it is. And then he will put 2 and 2 together, seeing the new gateway. And I think I have a drawing here. Let me see if I can find it that I put together. I guess I'm jumping ahead of myself. As far as building the episode, this would be the perfect moment where you have Colonel Mitchell step up, and maybe he's getting anxious, maybe they've been here a while, and he's trying to figure out, okay, what's going on? Why is Dr. Jackson so excited? And that's where, again, you can have a really fun moment of explanation, everything. You can even have some arguments between Dr. Jackson and Dr. McKay, as they're, of course, both trying to figure out what's going on. But the bottom line is this new gateway. It's something they've never seen before. It's got this new portal opening. Oh yes, and I failed to mention it. Not following my notes closely enough. Once they turn the power on to this room, or to the ship building, whatever, the gate activates automatically. And its activation should look different than what they've seen before. It doesn't have the entire explosion the way, it could have it if you wanted it, but once it opens, it looks differently, kind of like this, like it's a tunnel, as opposed to that pool of water effect that you might have had before. And again, it's because it's a different kind of gateway with that structure built inside. So, what they will quickly discover, not quickly. Well, okay, so that's where the argument comes in. Dr. Jackson, Dr. McKay would be arguing based on the device, and the aliens reading some of the stuff and looking at the equipment, they might even see as the computer screens come up that it almost is as if, and Dr. Jackson could even wonder, or one of the alien scientists, if they're picking up where some previous science team left off. Because one of the reasons the ships could have been buried because of previous ancient wars, conflicts, whatever, and they had to leave in a hurry. Everything was just turned off. So once it's on, there's evidence on the computer screens of work in progress, and the aliens could agree, or Dr. Jackson could agree, the aliens, doesn't really matter. But the point is, once the device is found, and they're looking around, they're discussing this, you know, you should be able to write this whole excellent dialogue scene between these characters. They realize this is probably being in connection with the Stargate is probably going to be something different than normal gate travel. That's hopefully the conclusion you can get the characters to logically. But they won't know till they step through. Obviously, since the gate's open, someone's got to step through. This could be an excellent moment for Teal'c, who may have more or less just been kind of a background character up till this point. He can be the one bravely to volunteer to step through. And of course, Colonel Mitchell can be like, oh, whoa, we've got them out for that. And of course, they'll send them out through. So when they send them out through the open doorway, Malp discovers a cleaner version of the same ruin on the other side. And in that side, then it could be completely different aliens that are showing up. Again, another chance to have an excellent alien prosthetic, or if the money is there, CGI. But either way, can introduce another new alien form in this second universe. And this could be that moment. This could be, depending on how you've written the episode, how things go, this could be a breakaway for a two-parter. But if this is more fast-paced and we're just in this, ending of the second scene, this could be, well, in the old days, this would be a commercial break, where Dr. Jackson realizes that's the same ship on the other side, and it's traveling in space as it's connected. And that would be a big realization, especially for those familiar with Stargate Universe and the whole problem with that, with the gate and the ship and traveling and everything. There's even some allusion to this and reference to this when it comes to gate travel on a starship, on the Goa'uld motherships in the SG-1 series. But anyways, here, this might start a whole discussion and argument, which again, another chance for some fun banter, some good back and forth, and some really good nerd talk as they try and discuss about Stargates activating and connecting on a moving spaceship. And there could even be some speculation. Mitchell or Shepard or somebody else could, even Teal'c, could bring up, well, is it possible we're dealing with a stronger power source in the starship? And there might even be agreement to split up with someone to go search for this power source. But one of the things that could be pointed out, and this is something, again, one of the characters could bring forward, and I think it'd be perfect for Mitchell to say it, when they're asking about, well, what do we do about the doorway? The map's gone through. Can someone go through? And you could have Teal'c say it, but more or less he's already volunteered. He's standing ready to take action to go through with the team. And Mitchell would obviously be one who could be part of that, but he would be the one who would say, hey, well, that's why we're here. And you could have, again, this fun little moment, the way he says things, where they agree, yeah, we need to go through and explore, so they can go through to the other side and meet the aliens that they may have shown up by then or not. And so then they can begin speaking with those aliens on the other side, and maybe the dialect happens to be similar to the aliens on this side, first universe aliens, if you want to put it that way. Anyways, however you want to do it. The point is, on the other side, they realize that it is the exact same ship. It's just everything's clean, everything's new, and again, the ship is active and it's traveling. So that adds this whole new and fun dynamic to the episode, to the story, as the characters are trying to figure out what in the world's going on, and this completely new ability to explore that they didn't have before. McKay and Jackson could even have an argument with ally scientists, all four of them on the other side, so they're trying to figure out how this thing works. It's a quantum mirror with a Stargate, fully integrated, and it works. It seems to work really well. one thing that could be fun, and this could either be through using technology on the starship in the second universe, or the aliens themselves. If they have contact with their Earth and their Stargate command, then you say, hey, we know Dr. Jackson. He's part of Stargate command. So they make the connection and they speak, and that's where you could have a really fun moment with James Spader. But I just now realized I need to stop and getting ahead of my notes again. Okay, so we need to discuss this. The difference between alternate universe and parallel universe. Okay. So, in a parallel universe, which the Stargate series actually explores quite a bit, and this is where the mirror takes them directly, as well as at times the Stargate, if something interferes and causes it to jump and connect to another universe. So both the Stargate itself and the quantum mirror make connections to parallel universes. And a parallel universe is where the characters exist, same characters, there's just subtle differences. And you see the pictures there. So it's the same O'Neill, or if it helps us, same Richard Dean Anderson, but it's just a little different in a parallel universe. But an alternate universe, characters are not the same. It's different people. Maybe I should say it's the same character, different people. Maybe I should say it that way. But the pictures there should help out. And if you need more to like really get your noggin wrapped around this, let's bring up Star Wars. Parallel universe. Same person. Different choices were made. Different things play out differently in this parallel universe. So you have the picture there. You know, we're familiar with Dark Anakin on the right. Well, what about Light Anakin? Everybody's always speculated about what if Anakin was trained by Qui-Gon. You know, what if Qui-Gon didn't die? Simple as that. That's a parallel universe where Qui-Gon didn't die. He trains Anakin. Anakin grows up to be an amazing, powerful, great, good Jedi. And if we need even more, actually what we do to do alternate. So alternate universe, again, completely different person. So in alternate universe, you still have in the main world the person you're familiar with, but in an alternate universe, it's a completely different person. And if you're wondering, by the way, who that picture is right there, that is the kid that would have tried out when they were trying to choose somebody to play the young Anakin for episode 1. He was literally their finalist edition. They almost picked him. I'm one of those who wish they did. I think he would have been a far better younger actor. Obviously, Jake Lloyd did a good job. Kind of the way Gordon Cormier is doing a good job playing the young Avatar in the current live-action Netflix series. Doing a good job. Like, yeah, definitely novice. There's problems, but he's doing a good job. And I do wish the other guy had played a bit. Anyways, come on, mouse, work. So, hopefully this helps you see the difference between an alternate universe and a parallel universe. And if you say, well, that's not enough, I mean, I'm going to do it again, and hopefully this helps. Let's do Star Trek. Let's see if Star Trek helps you. So, in Star Trek, with a parallel universe, you have your world with your Kirk that you're familiar with. Then you have a parallel universe. Same Kirk, different choices, different personality, different setting, that kind of thing. Well, different setting's not even right, too, because it's the same setting. Same Earth, same... There's a version of the Federation, but it's very, very different. Okay, so that's parallel universe. Whereas alternate universe, same character of Kirk, different person. And of course, that's exactly what the J.J. Abrams universe version of Star Trek is doing. It's a different person. So, that's what I think Stargate should take advantage of when they're doing this new season 11. Introduce an alternate universe and do so by what's already in canon, combining the quantum mirror with a Stargate, and have, again, some advanced aliens doing it, it can either be an offshoot of the ancients who did it, or use completely some other aliens. In fact, I believe when it comes to the original like great races that are referenced a few times in Stargate, you have the Asgard, you have the ancients. I'm not sure if they included the Wraith as one of those. Anyways, point is, I believe one of those alien races was long since extinct or whatever, or never really alluded to in the series. I want to say the Nox or another one. But anyways, and this could even be a separate Nox thing. Whatever. You could pick a race that already exists, which would be brilliant, or create a new one. But they create this quantum Stargate, and this could be the basis for a whole season or more of all kinds of fun. And so, as I was saying, so they step through in this story that I'm describing. They step through and they discuss things, and then they contact the Stargate Command in this alternate universe. And one of the characters that could connect would be this alternate universe's. This alternate universe is Dr. Jackson. I'm not just now realizing I forgot to add an image. So let me see if I can't do that real quick. Because of course this alternate universe that has Spader as the Dr. Jackson would also have this. Oh, come on. There we go. Work. Would also have this guy as their. I just lost a picture. Will you cooperate with me? My soul! Forgive me for the fussing, but sometimes stuff just doesn't want to work. This Dr. Jackson's connected with this Colonel O'Neill. And so that's where you could have fun and have an awesome cameo with Kurt Russell showing up and him and Richard Dean Anderson for the first time ever on screen together as the O'Neills, but connecting. And one of the fun things that you can do with this is in this alternate universe, everything that was set up in the Stargate movie is still true. So in this alternate universe, you've got the Goa'uld being completely different, with maybe most of them having been died off, and Ra having believed he was the last one, not realizing some of his other family, for lack of a better term, was out there in other places. And of course, in this universe, Stargate Command might have had a much different time exploring the universe, possibly enjoying a lot of peace earlier on because they didn't have to worry about a Goa'uld threat right away. They didn't have to deal with Apophis and all of that. You could even introduce a whole different alien species, not introduce, but reintroduce a whole different alien species that was hinted at in the Stargate movie, the long-headed alien kinds. Basically like a dark gray or tall, thin gray kind or whatever. Anyways, so you could have fun. The entire premise set up in the original Stargate movie could be true in this alternate universe with our Kurt Russell O'Neill or James Spader, Dr. Jackson. And you could have fun introducing, a different version of Teal'c if he even exists in this world, because he might not. Because if you don't have Apophis, you don't have Teal'c. Maybe this universe, he doesn't exist. Or if he does, he serves a completely different Goa'uld out there. Or he's on his own world, living a completely different life, completely free. Like maybe there's no Jaffa in that world, or it's a different setup. But that would be so much fun. And again, the episode could end right there with explanation and the interaction and just the discovery of this whole new alternate universe. Though if you wanted to move forward, you could have the characters have a brief conversation, and you could have a moment where the Kurt Russell O'Neill has doubts about this thing, because it's like, we know how our Stargate works. You guys just came through from another planet. And of course, this Dr. Jackson and O'Neill, well, it wouldn't have O'Neill. Well, you could have O'Neill if they called him too, because again, he initially would make a cameo in the beginning, but this could be another moment where they bring through, because it's such a big deal, stepping through to a new universe. Colonel Marshall might say, we need to speak to the general about this, and bring him on board. Or maybe they bring Russell back through to check out their world, maybe with a team from his universe, And that's when they call General O'Neill, because he wants to meet. This O'Neill wants to meet that O'Neill. That's where you have the legendary moment on screen. Either way, because Russell will have doubts and he's stepping back through, he might insist, let me see how this thing works. And of course, you've got our O'Neill, Richard Dean Anderson, but yeah, let's do that. Because he's interested. Of course he is. So they're all there. You got your whole crew together from 2 different universes, and with the help of the alien scientists and Daniel's expertise with the device, or at least familiarity with it, they activate and contact a 3rd universe. And in this case, of course, they're going to connect directly to the Stargate. Well, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can connect directly to the Stargate command of this other universe, or they can connect to the Stargate within the spaceship again in the 3rd universe, just to see what it's like. And maybe in that case, it's another ruins that's also been forgotten. Though maybe on this time, when they exit the ruins of the 3rd universe spaceship, and I know this might be getting a little crazy, but if you're watching an episode, it would make a lot of sense as you're following through. As they step through to the 3rd universe, and then from there, they'll know, well, this place seems abandoned. The aliens, you guys have settled in our 1st universe, but in the 3rd universe, you've either been killed off or you never settled here. But we know where the Stargate is, and it's probably still there. And lo and behold, yes, it's exactly where it is on that planet. The Stargate's still there, so they might use that to connect with the 3rd universe's Stargate command. And then you can have this amazing triple crossover event where you can introduce a 3rd version of Colonel O'Neill. And for those fans who are up on their SG-1 details, they'll recognize this as Michael Welch, who played a young clone of O'Neill. And this would be an amazing time to enter him in as the 3rd universe O'Neill. And if you've forgotten, let's see, I have it marked here. At least I thought I did. Fragile Balance. Season 7, Episode 3, Fragile Balance. Colonel O'Neill gets cloned by the Asgard Loki. So that's what's going on there. That's who that kid is. Michael Welch, great actor, and it would be a lot of fun to see him as an adult playing Colonel O'Neill. And of course, in that universe, again, things could have turned out very differently. You can have fun with that. I think one of the other fun characters that would be a lot of fun to introduce with a unique actor would be with Matthew Lawrence playing a 3rd universe alternate for Dr. Jackson. I think that'd be a lot of fun. He'd be amazing for it, just perfect nerd to also have that same Dr. Jackson vibe. I think that would just you couldn't get better. And I think this would be peak Stargate to explore these 3 universes with these characters. And this could even be, instead of season 11, episode 1, this could be a movie. And the movie could be called, I don't know, Stargate. I think the term Stargate Omniverse would work. Some might think that's too ostentatious. But you could also do something, Stargate Quantum something. The name ought to have that, since you're dealing with the quantum mirror, and that's the premise, the central part of this whole thing. But whether it's done if it is done in seasons, I have a few ideas here for some of the episodes that could be put forward. And I think, again, it would be a whole lot of fun, because there's a lot of storylines that could still be built upon, could still be completed. One of the more important ones that needs to be taken care of is the Lucian Alliance, and a really awesome way to tie that up would be to reintroduce our character Aris Bach, or Bach. I'm not sure how his name's pronounced. He's the bounty hunter. Let's see. Season 3, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Dead Man Switch. Aris Bach, who is played by Sam J. Jones excellently. He would be an amazing character to reprise his role, bring him back in the first universe. And there could be a whole episode or two where he shows up, as I've written there, and asks for help and everything to take care of to kind of finalize the Lucian Alliance issues. Because, as you would have seen in Stargate Universe, the Lucian Alliance was like the last big enemy that Universe 1 Stargate Command was dealing with. So that would be a great way to tie that off. You could even have a great, again, episode or two where Samantha Carter shows up again, and she could be a brigadier general commanding a fleet now, the space fleet now, if you wanted to have it that way. And I think another really fun storyline, as I have there with two of the episodes described, is where you could have a new Goa'uld storyline. And this one would connect more with the idea of the Tok'ra, where you have an independent Goa'uld who was, and this would be something that could come out later. It doesn't have to be all spilled out right at the beginning. In the beginning, you could have just a startling, oh no, Dr. Jackson's taken over by a Goa'uld, symbiote jumps into him. But the fun and the interesting part would be how that plays out, because he's not like the typical Goa'uld. Again, with the Tok'ra idea, he is interested in who Daniel is. He's not trying to take him over. And going through his mind, and you could play this out in several different episodes. As you see here, I just have two ideas here. You could do a bunch with it, and do a bunch of episodes. This could be a whole storyline. Could even be kind of a back end story to the primary story of exploring the other universes, and whatever shenanigans the teams get into there, where the Goa'uld inside Jackson has the ability to tap into his mind and realize, whoa, you were an ascended being. I can see your memories. I can see. And once Jackson and this gray Goa'uld, we might call him, have a come together moment in the mind or whatever, Jackson realized if he can befriend this Goa'uld that's inhabiting him, he can have access to not only his ascended knowledge, but some of his ascended powers. And that could be something that plays out in later episodes where Daniel realizes he can start tapping into this stuff thanks to this creature being in him. Besides, that also gets to have Dr. Jackson play his character out in a new way. And I think the actor might appreciate that. He gets to be kind of a superpowered human. He gets to enjoy some of that Goa'uld power and everything and knowledge, because this Goa'uld's going to be super ancient. At the same time, Dr. Jackson's going to have all the knowledge of what's happened to the Goa'uld since, from Ra on. So, and he'll be teaching this Goa'uld that this Goa'uld's been isolated in this pool, in this cave, or in this sunken ship for literal centuries, or in this case, millennia, because he would have been encased before Ra even came to Earth. So the last he knew was Ra's in charge of Earth, that kind of thing. So the two of them together could create this sort of bond, and again, become what the Tok'ra were, a symbiotic relationship. Maybe it's a symbiote, but symbiotic relationship. And I think there's a whole storyline that could be fun. But yeah, this is my idea for what we would call, or what you might call, a Stargate episode 11 kind of idea, and or episode 11, season 11. I'll get my brain to work one day. Season 11, and if not that, then a possible another movie idea. I don't know if this could tie in at all with what they wanted to do with Revelation, Stargate Revelation, because there was obviously a story there. Though they could always take some of the ideas from Stargate Revelation and put them in season 11, if they can't put it into this movie. So that can make up a big part of the storyline for season 11. Unless they wanted to do Stargate Revelation, could be something like another movie that comes at the end of season 11, that kind of thing. But I think this would be a great way to expand the Stargate lore, to have a whole lot of fun with all of these characters, to be introducing new characters, as well as this entire concept of alternate versus parallel universes, because we've already had a lot of fun with parallel universes, though truth be told, you could have a lot more fun with that if you wanted to. There's so much possibility with this idea, and I think it is very much worth exploring, and I hope that ideas like this get to whoever owns Stargate, and that they can take it and run with it and do something amazing. It would be incredible to see Stargate on the main screen again. But this is just one nerd's ideas. This most likely will go down in history as just another small YouTube video that nobody really knows about till much later, because I'm writing my own science fiction series, so that'll probably give me my own level of popularity. And so if this video doesn't somehow make the rounds and become any kind of viral among the nerd community or the Stargate community, then at the very least it'll just be my ideas put out there as a young author at this time in May of 2024, and in the future others can look back and say, oh look, he had these ideas. I mean, really, these ideas could be implemented at any time, but obviously if it's done now, whoever owns Stargate franchise now can have, or could have, an amazing time playing around once again with these characters. All of us would enjoy these characters, both old and new. And I do always look forward to the future of Stargate, because I'm sure it's not done, especially nowadays when so many other platforms, franchises are being renewed and or rebooted. Stargate does not need to be rebooted, though you certainly could. Obviously, one of the best ways to reboot it, in my opinion, would be to go with the Michael Welch version. Like, you could definitely start Stargate over, like, right now. You know, the guy's a great age to helm an all-new series. And you could even see if Matthew Lawrence wanted to play Dr. Jackson, because I think those two would be excellent on screen together. You could introduce a new Samantha Carter, a new Teal'c. You could do the reboot route, and you could have fun with that for sure. But I think there's a lot more potential by sticking with our older characters, continuing the story, and taking it just to a whole new level. I think that's the best thing to do, and I really hope that this idea gets to the ears of the right people, and that we can see once again Stargate as another continued awesome science fiction franchise, because it's high time. It's been, dormant long enough. It's time for it to continue. Thanks for listening. This has been Thoughts on Stargate with J.R. Carmona.